G'day fellas, and welcome to Age of Empires 4 Server-Side Patch Review. That is right, we got a server-side patch. It's time for us to take a look under the hood at exactly what awaits us in the next phase of Season 3. Developers have said we're serving up some balance changes in this server-side patch to help keep the meta fresh. We're making tweaks to some of the top-performing civilizations. Oh lord, please no. In this patch, you'll find that it will take more time to build walls and defensive structures, a few adjustments to the Chinese civilization. Please. Hey, they were perfect. There was nothing wrong with China, all right? Absolutely nothing. Maybe a little bit. And other balance changes to the Malians and Mongol civilizations. Read on to learn more. Okay, so already we know we're getting the juicy stuff, right? Like balance. I will go through an entire 60-minute video, and the only thing I care about are the balance changes, because that's what really changes my games at the end of the day. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Balance changes. Stonewall cost increase from 15 to 20 stone. Bro, that's nothing. Oh, man. I feel like they're not addressing the underlying issue here with stone walls. Stone walls are a very powerful option for shutting down raids. We wanted their cost to more closely match their effect in game. I still feel like... So, if you've ever watched a stone wall with a gate on it be destroyed, it actually destroys the gate and then the part of the wall that's next to it and or immediately adjacent to it. So it kills 3 pieces of wall when there's a gate. And it's for this reason that you'll actually see top-level players not put gates on sections of wall unless they very specifically want to begin attacking down that route. Because if they get counterattacked down there, it's going to open up that wall even larger. They need to make that change across the board so that if you take down a gate or a piece of wall, it makes the 2 adjacent walls also come down with it. That way, at least the cost of rebuilding the wall is slightly increased. Civilization-specific changes. All right. Fixed an issue where fortifications were not properly built 50% faster. I think what they may be talking about here is that China actually builds their fortifications 100% faster. Now, there's something weird with regard to the way that China is calculated. So I'm not sure if this is a buff. I'm not sure if this is a nerf. But I'm going to assume it's probably a nerf. So basically, Chinese stone walls, palisade walls, keeps, and outposts, all just basically the build time going to be getting nerfed. There's no way for us to really know because they didn't actually say. Hold on. Oh god, changes to Song Dynasty. Oh no. Oh no. Song Dynasty villager bonus changed from 35% reduction in time to a 33% increase. Why do you do this? Just say change to 25% reduction in time. Don't make it complicated. Stop trying to... I can't stand it. Just pick one and go with it. Don't give me 35% reduction in time to 33% increase to production speed. Just stick with it. We've flip-flopped so many times here. This means villagers will build in 15 seconds instead of 13 seconds. Okay, well, this is a good change. Honestly, I know a lot of people are like, oh, China's busted. Yeah, I got to agree. China's absolutely busted. I mean, at the top level in particular, China was considered S tier on pretty much every single map. Obviously, there were other civs that were playable, but this kind of just means that if you were to extrapolate a Chinese economy at the 15-minute mark, instead of having 100 villas now, it's probably going to be closer to 90 vills. So it's still a big economy, something that you still need to respect, but it's not going to be that runaway freight train that we are so used to typically seeing at that 15-minute mark. You know, I used to tell people, and I still probably will tell people, your win condition with China is just survive. Survive the first 10 minutes. Survive the 15 minutes. First 15 minutes. The longer you survive, the better it gets for you. Does that change after this? Probably not. Barbican and village garrison slots reduced from 10 to 8. That's a bit of a weird one. We wanted to allow more counterplay options when attacking a booming or teching China player. I mean, it doesn't really change the Barbican that much because you kind of put your Barbican on your gold mine. You're never really going to have more than 8 vills on gold as China in the early game, so that's not a big thing. Village, once again, I mean, this is this is a good change, right? And it's not like it's not what's the way to say this? This is a nerf. This is obviously a nerf, right? But at the same time, it's a good nerf because if you've got so many vills that they can't fit in the village or the Barbican, and your enemy can kill them, then, you know, it's evening up the game a little bit. So I do like the direction that they're going here with China. Basically saying Chinese economy is too strong. Let's give people more counter options for it by reducing the garrison slots. Let's also just reduce the power of it. down from 13 to 15 seconds. So I think that is definitely the right choice. So overall, even as a China main, I like this. I like this. Now, I've seen the complaints and I understand where people are on China, but I think overall, these are really solid changes. This is exactly the direction it needed to go. So hats off to the developers. We just got to fix these things up. Yep. Increase to production speed, reduction in time. It's just going to confuse people. I mean, this obviously gives clarity, but at the same time, we just got to stick to one. Malians, cattle cost increased from 75 gold to 90 gold, just after they brought it down from 100. Developer note, we found that 75 gold, at 75 gold, it was so cost efficient that players would completely ignore farms and exclusively eat cows. Cattle are meant as a supplement to farms and not as a total replacement. Interesting decision, and I think this is probably the right one, right? Like, watching a lot of Salami games, watching the way that he does fast castles, the big thing he relies on, and he makes it part of his build. Early on, he gets a mill, and he just puts the mill next to his town center. He rallies it right next to the TC, and he just starts making cattle from, like, what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that. He doesn't care if he gets sheep. Obviously, he cares, right? Because each sheep to him is worth 50 gold. Well, 45 gold now, but used to be worth 37.5 gold. Yeah, it's one of those things where people are just utilizing it in the early game. And I kind of like the mechanic. I still think this is a reasonable cost for the amount of food you're getting. So I like this change. Mongols. Pastures sheep spawn time increase from 120 seconds to 140 seconds. Pastures are still more cost-effective than farms. We just wanted to reduce the delta in power level between these options. Weird. Okay. So Mongol nerfs. This is nerfing, I mean, this is nerfing a whole range of Mongol options, but the main thing to me is obviously like that mid-game timing. It means that the Mongol player is going to have to spend a little bit more on pastures, but that's not really a big thing. I mean, at that point in the game, like, you're already talking about a civilization that's got steppered out. They've already got a market. They're doing market trading for wood. They're buying second town centers. They've got 15 vills on gold. They've got their double upgrades. Like, it's not a big deal dropping an extra pasture or two. But, I mean, overall, this is like every 6 pastures you make now, you have to make a 7th pasture to equal this. So that's not a bad change. Pastures are expensive. So overall, I mean, it's if that was their assessment that the delta was too high, then fair point. What's on the horizon? As we prepare to head into the winter holiday, we've got lots of plans up our sleeves for next year. You can read about some of what's coming in Season 4 in our community roadmap, and we'll have more news to share with you about the next pup in January. January won't just be pup focused, however, we'll also have a new Season 3 event kicking off late in the month. Our team has also heard your feedback on making the hardest AI more difficult to play against, so you'll see those adjustments in our next minor patch early next year as well. We hope you're ready for a challenge. Our Balance team is already breaking a sweat testing some early concepts of the hardest AI update. You know, I'll be honest with you guys, I know some of the Balance team guys, they ain't breaking a sweat. I tell you what, man, you put these guys up against Marine Law, they ain't breaking a sweat. Some of the Balance guys are legitimately insane. Really, really good players. So I'm confident with the overall direction in this patch. I think this is a really good patch, and it definitely sets the tone. You know, we've got a nerf to the Malians, and I'll be honest, there are whispers that the Malians were bordering on overpowered. I'm not even kidding you. I wouldn't be surprised to see more nerfs coming, specifically to the Firimba Garrison. I think that the Salami strategy, the Salami build, whatever you want to call it, it's good. It may be a little too good. So I would say keep that on your horizon. Overall, with regard to balance, I mean, at the moment, balance is just so good for Age of Empires 4. It's incredible, right? Realistically, I think you could maybe expect to see a HRE nerf, but overall, like, the balance is just so tight. It's in such a good place right now. It doesn't matter what civ you play. I feel like everything's viable on certain maps, and China's viable on every map. So this is great. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm curious what you guys think. Is this going to be enough to deal with China? I think the elephant in the room is obviously at the lower level. Chukunu, the Chukunu all-in strategy, the impossible strategy that I posted up and shown you guys before. It doesn't change much. Every cog still goes for China in the same direction for a strategy like that. It just means at the 15-minute mark on one TC, instead of having 75 vills, you're only going to have, 70 vills. Or instead of having 70 vills, you only got 65 or 60 vills or something like that. So it obviously hurts you, but at the same time, you're still pumping. You're still pumping units. So I don't think it really changes too much. Anyway, I'm curious what you guys think. Is this enough for China? Have China been nerfed enough? Only time will tell. But what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, have a lovely day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.